Hi, I'm Joe. A Twitter user named Alexander, who goes by the handle Mr_Picard, asked me, "Just watched all your Vita videos so far. I'd love to hear you talk about Picard tips and how you get the ideas for the tips." Well, thank you for the question, Alexander. Not that that was a question. Well, there are a few different ways that I get ideas for what to tweet on Picard tips. The way I used to do it is I would just watch a lot of Star Trek The Next Generation, especially scenes that had Picard in them. And I'd ask myself, what's going on here that Picard is doing? What is the essence of what Picard is doing in this scene? Regardless of the technology and the setting, how could you phrase what he's doing in the scene as a modern-day approach to life? When I put my Picard tips writer thinking cap on, I can often come up with something for almost any Picard scene. Then it's just a matter of seeing whether I can write it out in a way that sounds like it's going to make sense in a tweet, and whether I think people will respond to it well. The second way that I think of Picard tips tweets is to think in terms of management. Captain Picard is the manager of a high-functioning group of experts. I think he's one of the most idyllic leaders in all of fiction. He's the standard to which real-life team leads should be measured. That's why most of my Picard tips tweets are management tips. More than anything else, that's what Picard is good at. That's what he does all the time. He's a manager. I have found that most management strategies that I agree with tend to be something that I could see Picard doing, and that it seems fair to put those words into Picard's mouth. So when I observe good management practices that I agree with, and that I think Picard would agree with, I find a way to fit those positive behaviors into Picard's world. The third way that I think of Picard tips tweets is the opposite. I look at negative behaviors of managers. It's all too common. I think most people can understand the idea of a manager who's not so great. A lot of those behaviors can be described very specifically. And once you have Picard saying, "Don't do those things, and here's why," it makes a lot more sense to people. And people embrace the idea of how not to be a bad manager. Some of the bad manager practices are things that I've observed myself, and others are things that I have heard from other people. Then I look for a way to fit that cautionary tale into Picard's world. Usually it fits right in because Picard's enterprise is run in a way very similar to a current-day business. The fourth way that I think of Picard tips tweets is what Twitter is famous for, jokes and puns. I've looked for ways to reuse words from Star Trek, words like enterprise, space, frontier, engine, impulse, warp, explore, or catchphrases that Picard is known for saying. These are crowd pleasers. I try not to overuse them, but people do enjoy the occasional "make it so," engage, number one, tea, Earl Grey, hot, there are four lights, pulling down your shirt hem to straighten it, aka the Picard maneuver, the facepalm. So those are some of the ways that I think of how to write Picard tips tweets. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please click the subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and a bunch of other places that I'll put in the description. If you want to follow Picard tips, it's at twitter.com/PicardTips. If you enjoy reading Picard tips, I do accept donations on Patreon and PayPal. This month I am doing VITA, which stands for Video Every Day in August. This is my VITA number 5. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.